out there in the interweb land?
Interwebs. I like that word. I love that word. We get all up in those interwebs.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, thank you once again for joining us for AP Racing Masterclass. This is our 6th edition coming to you live from Colorado.
I can't wait to get to the Ocho.
Columinati.
Columinati.
Desperati. It's a
Infantati.
Yeah, you got it. It's what we were doing Snoop song.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm an East Coast rapper. I'm not really.
I'm into Snoop.
Yeah, Snoop's the man.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So welcome everybody for episode number 6. Today we're talking about running. We're going to get a little bit deeper dive. Last week we talked about mechanics and how to run more efficiently and how to take advantage of certain levers and certain muscles to make sure that you're getting the most out of your running. Today, we're going to talk about the training side of running and when you should be doing certain types of runs, how each run plays on the next, and how to build a run program through the season.
So we actually have to run to get better?
Oh, it's kind of like swimming in that regard.
Okay.
You can't look at water and expect to be a better swimmer. You actually have to get in.
Oh, I just watched this video of Boston all week, and I was like, I'm better already.
That will make you better. I must say, if you have a good image of somebody in your mind before you go do a certain skill, you can take that image and do like a personal mirroring of the image or the video. So you try to, I think this is it's part psychology, part brainwave mentality where
you're wiring the idea in and the thought in.
Yes.
I believe 2 years ago, we did that at our Chula Vista camp. Is that true?
It is true. We actually swam with blackout goggles after watching the right videos in terms of hand position, elbow position, all those things.
Yeah, I believe I was a demonstrator that they were watching the whole time.
We demo, yes. Yeah, you were the inside the VR headset.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Perfect stroke every time.
No, but if you think about the type of running that we demonstrated last week, and you need a visual, I would encourage you to go watch Boston run. My son, if you weren't here last week, he is a beautiful runner. And just look what he's doing right. And then kind of close your eyes and then kind of project yourself onto that image. And I think that I think it's effective.
Absolutely.
Here's a test for you. Next time you go to the pool, watch the octogenarian lady in lane 1.
Okay.
Who has got a terrible swim stroke. You watch her for 3 laps, you get in. The first lap, you're like, wait, what's going on? Why am I terrible? Why am I trying to do the side stroke right now? So before you go to the pool, make sure you're watching really good swimming.
Yeah, watch good swimming. Not bad.
Yeah,
all right.
Absolutely.
All right, so we got a lot to do this week. Talk about run training. That's our jam this week.
Oh, it's from the mirror.
With that, guys, post up questions anytime in the chat about run training because we want to answer all your questions. If you have any other ones as well, put them in there. We'll get to them.
I screwed it back.
And before we get there, what do you have on right now?
Mark Prizzy Pro.
Is that like your favorite thing ever?
It is. I'm rocking 6.4 on both the lefty and the righty.
Okay.
I could turn it doesn't go to 11, but it does go to 9. It would just make me jumpy during the video. So I will do my active recovery, promoting blood flow. But something fun we can announce to the winner of
our Mark Pro giveaway.
Yes, which is right here. Let me pull it out. Drum roll, please. There we go. Comes in this awesome new case. Boom. Oh, it's still on.
It is open. Yeah, you left it on. So whoever's
there we go.
This, it's on.
I'll charge it for you. Brand new.
Yeah.
Bang. Bing, bing, boom.
And the winner is
Steve White.
You want Steve?
Awesome.
You'll get an email from Mark Pro, and if you don't, well, boo-hoo on them, and then just call us and email us, and we will take care of it. Someone asked, Trisha asked, do you recommend the Pro or the Pro Plus?
Okay. I mostly use the Pro. However, when I do have an acute injury come up, meaning something that's I can pinpoint,
Yes.
whether so I'll throw out my back every now and then, or maybe I twist an ankle on a run, or I'll do something different.
Yeah.
And I'll need the Plus because it's a different frequency. So Mark Pro runs at the hertz, the frequency that it gives you. I think it's 1.2. Does that sound right?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I was gonna say like 700. Shows you how much I know.
Yeah.
Or a 120. I thought maybe 120.
Yeah, I thought it was 2 seconds.
Yeah.
2 hertz.
No, so it's 120. So it's
Yeah, 120. Yeah, 2
Okay.
a second. Because 60 hertz is 1 a second. Yeah. I knew it was right.
Okay.
But so the Mark Pro Plus operates at a higher frequency,
Correct.
and it actually isn't helping your injury or fixing your injury. It's abating the pain.
Correct.
So don't think of it as an injury fixer.
Yes.
It's just abating pain. It's like taking Advil in a different way.
Yep. Yeah, you're calming your nervous system down, trying to lessen the sensitivity of the specific area. And it is actually really effective.
It's super effective. But if you can only get one, I'd probably get the Pro because it's easy to travel with too. It's just a little bit smaller.
It's a little smaller, a little more compact. And I will, but the times I wanted the Plus, I was happy that I had it.
Absolutely.
But then again, like I have both.
Yeah. Oh, Andy, you're the best.
Spoiled.
I have both.
Just spoiled. Spoiled is all it
Okay.
is.
All right. So congrats, Steve.
Yep.
As we've done every week, we're going to start off here by talking about swimming and getting into some swim analysis.
Okay.
So this week on Tap, Andy, I'll pull it up.
Okay.
We got John and Karina. So everyone.
Wonderful. Hopefully Karina's on. I did see John earlier. Wonderful. Okay. Who are we rocking here?
I believe
That's John coming at us. This is at water level. Different beat for us. This is good. All right. You want to run?
School for you.
Under.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guy's name on his butt. That's always Pro.
Super Pro. All right.
You want to run it back to the underwater? You want to see this one more time?
Okay. We can go run it back to this one.
Okay.
Okay. We got lots of different options to choose from. Let's look at the right hand here, John.
Andy and I were basically playing Pictionary.
Right
We were
hand,
both very
as
good
you're
at it.
entering the water, you it's a little flat. So this is your right arm entering the water, and you'll notice that the elbow, as it passes the head, it will the elbow and the hand will become at the same level. So as we go forward, they're entering. So we're entering kind of the whole forearm at the same time instead of fingertips, then the elbow. And what it does is it'll flatten you out. And I would like to see you trying to swim a little bit more on your side. And we want to see an angle a little bit closer to. Do one, because one paddle, right?
Yeah, sorry.
So good. So maybe just start it there. Oh, sorry.
I got it.
Oh, I see what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Okay, this is his elbow.
Oh, that's his elbow?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, guys.
Okay. I see what you're looking at there. You're looking at this as the shoulder.
Yeah.
So you see how the elbow and the hand, they're kind of entering the water at the same time. We're going to go ahead and abort the drawings.
Okay, you go.
All right. Why don't we advance? Okay. So as the elbow and hand come in at the same time, it does stay horizontal, which we talked about a while back, which is excellent, right? When we compare it to the left hand, see how the elbows, as it's coming past the head, it's higher, okay? And the fingertips are down, right? Oh, but the whole pause right there. Do you see that? What's he doing really nice, everybody? Do you guys have that same image we are looking at? If you paid attention in the first bunch of episodes, we talked about having both hands in front of the head. And John does a really nice job here. And
He's holding on to his stroke.
yes,
He's being patient.
yes.
Using the word we've used previously.
And I really like this. So if you being patient, John, means a flat elbow, I'm all about it.
Yeah.
I'm A-okay with a flat elbow on your right side if you're going to maintain the patience.
The one thing you can see, is here. He's breaking at the wrist and not at the elbow.
Correct.
So what you see is he thinks he's getting a nice long paddle by doing this,
Yep.
but it's really should be here.
Correct.
So you need to try not to break at your wrist. Everyone does it when you're trying to get high elbows, especially when they first start off and they're concentrating on it. It just takes a lot of patience and discipline to not break at the wrist here and break at the elbow instead.
I really, the one key tip here for you, John, is if you can articulate the right shoulder towards the earlobe and have it be, so you're here, I'd like to see you here, instead of here. So as you articulate, then you've got the real estate to be able to bend at the elbow. And you won't feel like you're leading with the elbow all the way back through the stroke. Yeah.
Right there.
Excellent. Okay, let's move forward. One goggle in, one goggle out.
So, Andy, tell me what you think here. It's partially getting the fingertips in first. If he entered maybe even a little shorter, it would maybe help him out here a little bit. I mean, you don't want to really enter short. That's the...
Yeah, I do like how his hands are both in front of his head so much that I'm not going to mess with it anymore.
Gotcha.
After seeing that still shot. Also one of the reasons why I like you reaching out on the recovery as much as possible is because of the resistance.
There's less resistance out of the water than in.
Correct. So you're 800 plus times more resistant in water. I was actually doing some research on this the other day, and it has a little bit to do with how much, if you're more forceful at more velocity, you actually get, the water will work against you faster.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Right?
Because you're pushing harder against it.
Yeah, so there was an image of someone shooting an AK-47 underwater,
Okay.
and the bullet stops at 8 feet.
Really?
Yeah, whereas you take, those underwater torpedoes,
Yes.
and you go as a little kid, you kind of give it a glide out,
Yeah.
and it'll go for 50 feet.
And that's because the bullet has more velocity.
Initial velocity starting in the water.
Gotcha.
Yep, and it's an initial velocity. It has to do with hydrodynamics.
Interesting.
Really interesting.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
All right,
So let's talk about John's stroke. Sorry.
We're talking about bullets, AK-47. I want to look back at the underwater.
Okay, yes, I really do like the underwater shots here.
Let's go here.
All right. So as we are, I want you to go back one step there. So right arm in the water, your head is, you're trying to move your ear to your shoulder as opposed to your shoulder to your ear. You see how your head is tilted and off axis? I'd like your eyes to be pointing down.
It's not like that.
Yep. So if we look down at the bottom and down and forward, maybe 10 degrees, then you're going to get a more stable head position, and you can start to rotate around the head and the spine as opposed to the head moving from side to side. Here we go. See, and as you rock back and forth, back to the other side, but that's a good high elbow there. I like this. This is good. Flatten it out. Forward. Rotating, laying out on the side.
Straight arm, straight arm, straight arm.
Okay, we're sweeping a little wide. Okay, so for you to go faster, your goal is to go forward faster. We definitely want to make sure when the hand enters, the whole objective is to get the hand to face the feet, the palm will face, and your paddle will face the feet the entire way, and you just move it straight back. You don't want to be sweep. See how that you can see the thumb? The thumb is kind of pitching up a little bit, and so the pinky is leading the way. And then you're going to also sweep out a little bit laterally. What I'd like you to do is just keep the palm facing towards the back of the feet and sweep backwards in a straight line. Because if you have propulsive force moving back, it helps you move forward. As soon as you take, and it goes, see how lateral, you're getting a little lateral with the left arm there? You see it, John?
See you, John?
Give me a thumbs up there, Budro.
Yeah, I see it, bro.
Maybe not.
We can't see you typing. So.
Oh, is he typing to us?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we would just want to make it, so see how it's pushing a little lateral? We just want to make it move straight back. And on this side, you could see where the hands aren't, he's really good with getting the left arm, being patient with the right, and a little bit rushed with the left. See how the hands are both in front of the face? And if you go to the next frame, so both hands are in front of the head. Next frame, the left arm's pulling back. Where's the right hand enter? Is the right hand enter? Up there.
And the left arm's over there.
Correct.
I think it's because he's breathing to that side
Yep.
as well.
Yep, and that's his timing.
Yeah, exactly.
So we just want to work on maybe some bilateral breathing to even that out a little bit on the rotation. And then also we're going to take those eyes and we're going to push them. So we're looking at the bottom of the pool or 10 degrees ahead. And then when the hand enters the water, you're pushing the water behind you with a paddle always facing towards your feet.
Exactly.
Good to go.
Spot on.
Look, bring that chin just in, just tuck that chin just a little bit. The eyes are pointing maybe at a 30 degree. I'd like to see more 10.
So you told him a bit about bilateral breathing to help. Getting the chin and the eyes down a bit more.
That will help.
Is
That will
there
help
anything-
even out the
Any
rotation.
specific drill or anything specific that he can or should be doing to kind of even out his stroke and to kind of correct the things he got going on? Or is it more a concentrated thing?
I think what you can do specifically during warm-ups and cool downs and things like that is you can do almost catch-up drill.
Yeah.
So you're still in the head. You're not forcing an effort. You don't need the full catch-up drill. Full catch-up would be arm out front. Wait. Touch, then go. The almost catch-up is arm out front as you come around. It's getting close enough and then go.
Yeah. And if you put some paddles on or
You'll feel it better with
Yeah,
paddles.
Absolutely. And if you put a buoy on, then you can really concentrate on the hands and
Yep.
the timing as well.
Yep, toys will help for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move on. Karina.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right, Karina.
Here we go. And here we go.
Okay. So hopefully you guys are starting to see some of the same things that we see when we look at strokes, right? And
If any of you guys know what we're going to say, put in the chat. We're curious. We want to see if you're learning.
that also means that there's a consistency with it, right? Okay, so Karina, let's start with your hands. We want your hands to be nice and relaxed, okay? If anything, you can have them tight when you enter, which you do here with the right hand, but then they're splayed a little too much as soon as they enter the water. They're splaying too much. I want them just to be nice and relaxed. Okay, just nice and relaxed. High five. So, oh, here we go. Stop.
Look at that.
Okay.
Look at that.
Now-
That's what we're looking for. What's she looking for?
I don't know. What's up there?
What is up at the ceiling, Karina?
Are you something cool? It's got to be something
There's got to be
cool.
like a sign or something. Maybe a picture.
The election results.
Oh, yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
needed to
You're
check it.
counting up there.
Yeah, yes.
You're counting up there.
Yes.
All right, got it.
Okay, Karina, one goggle in, one goggle out. All right. So that pocket that you're searching for is right next to you. You do not need, what ends up happening here is the whole head, because the whole, both eyes are coming out of the water. You're really driving that right hip beyond 90 degrees for the rotation, just to be able to turn your head like that. And you're lifting the head and the hips are sinking.
Yes.
So it's adding to
And
your
then it's
drag
harder to
profile.
come back the other way.
Yes.
So that's number one.
And because of that, she's pretty
Yeah,
driving.
she's really good. Look at that
Yeah.
drive.
So I'm a little surprised that you're on as flat as you potentially would be here, because you can see her whole right side. Look at the right
Everyone's
shoulder.
we're looking at that right there.
See how it's all clear of the water? It's out. It's in the air. Yep. The whole right.
Nice and dry.
The whole right side, the whole right shoulder is out of the water.
Which means you had a great hip drive off your left side.
Yep. Maybe there was a lot of torque in the rotation there.
Potentially.
Okay.
Let's see. I'd like to see your timing a little. It looks like both goggles are out.
Both goggles out. Not as dramatic, but maybe they moved the counter.
All right, let's go back.
I like the underwater. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. All right. Here we go. All right. Right hand in the water. Okay. Where are those eyes? Let's go back just a pitch for me, Daniel. All right. So you see how your eyes are drifting towards your right-hand side there. I want to try to keep that head nice and even, eyes down. Okay. And as your hand goes back, see how we're driving a little bit with the pink. Oh, there's the splay that I was talking about before I saw that. Yeah.
How you saw that from above the water. That was pretty good. He's talking about your hand splay. So look at your finger. You can just see that finger going out there, and this one here and this one there. It's like all over the place. Just a little bit closer.
Yeah.
A little tighter.
Yep.
The guy with the crooked finger.
Okay. Yep. Both hands are in front of the head. Okay. I would like to see. Okay.
See that?
Yeah. Yeah. So when the left hand is in the water, so the left hand's in, that's good. All right. Now we want to try to keep that shoulders nice and articulated towards the earlobe. It's now you're grabbing.
So what he's saying, I don't know if you guys caught that. Because
It's
he said it in his own shorthand.
Yeah. The top third of the stroke right now is you're leaving a lot of real estate untapped. And what I'd like to see, by the time you're actually applying force to the water, your hand is in the power position. And I would like to see it start earlier.
Yeah. So see that red line, guys? If you look, Karina's pushing straight down to the bottom of the pool with her whole arm, all the way to even past there. It's not until about right there that she's pushing to the back of the pool.
Yes.
And so you want pushing to the back of the pool is what gives you speed, not pushing to the bottom of the pool.
Right. It's giving you, she's going off of lift.
Yes.
Yep.
She's lifting herself up instead of forward.
Yes.
Does that make sense, Karina? So the way to fix that, like Andy was saying, is you articulate your shoulder a bit more towards your elbow, towards your ear, and you get your elbow up higher earlier. So get on the front of the stroke.
Yeah. Hey now.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, give me five.
Give me five.
Give me five.
Super five.
Okay.
All right. Timing looks pretty good though, like
Yep.
you said. Head position, like you said, just a little bit articulation.
Yeah.
Oh, any drills for exhale? Absolutely.
Yeah. So what I would look for you, Karina, is I would like to do some breath drills with you right here, because you're nice and relaxed, and it is a pretty stroke. But what happens at a higher effort, and what happens then? So what I'd like you to work on is the exhale in under the water. So working on the breathing aspect, right? So it's like have breathing be linked with the timing of your stroke. So exhale, more bubbles on the exhale. And then really working on eyes down, breathing, and tempo.
Okay.
Those are like the three things.
Yeah, overall.
Yeah.
So one thing specifically I
Yep.
would do.
And the drill, how would you?
Yeah, so I'd throw on some
Hit it.
fins.
Yep.
Or throw on a pull. You could do, actually, I would start it with pull buoy and paddles, and then go to fins eventually.
Okay.
And I'll go this way. I would go out like I'm doing a regular stroke, maybe just one-sided to start. You can start kicking on your side if you like. Come out, and I would catch high, just like this. You see? And then what I would do is I would make sure my elbow breathed. So I'd have my elbow at the surface of the water, and I'd just feel it going back and forth.
Okay.
Just going so I could feel the air on it and I could feel all this tension here.
And if you're going to do that, what I really like is don't pay attention to the head. Let the eyes see it.
yes,
Don't worry about that head alignment
for that.
for that specific
'cause you're
drill.
working on something else.
Because you want the visual of the distance
Yeah.
to the elbow.
Yeah, and you
or
start
at the
off
surface.
on the side doing this, then you do it as part of a swim too, and then you just pulling, and then you do it with the fins.
And I can see how this stroke for Karina translates nicely though to open water.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And what is that? What do I mean by that? Well, and oftentimes in open water, you're just looking for still water to grasp. You're not, because too often, especially in a scrum, you have moving water moving underneath you, and you're just looking for
Something to grab.
something clean, right? And that's why I feel like it's okay to have some distance between your chest and the hand being so far out away.
Yeah.
Even though the leverage is reduced, the fact that you're getting good real estate and
Yeah.
good purchase is enhanced. So it's a give and take, but it does translate nicely, especially when tempo increases.
Well, and you can tell because she has those like kind of big arms and a big hip swing that she can, when she turns it over, it's really fast.
Yes,
And
and
so that's a great thing for open water.
and it translates nicely for open water.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Perfect. If you have any follow-ups, any other questions, you just let us know. Here to help anytime.
Okay,
All right, so I think we got to get into the run.
let's do it.
The run. High hands, high hands, high hands, high hands.
Have you ever felt you're running at an extremely fast rate? If you look out the window, do you guys know that movie? Dumb and Dumber? Okay. Yeah.
Well,
Hey, Lloyd.
Were
No.
you talking about our MasterClass? Like, what is going on right now?
Okay. You can't triple stamp a double stamp.
Yeah.
Okay. Gosh, I hope that some people are getting our jokes.
Yeah. You're on it today. I like
So, all right, what are we going to study today? And what are we going to learn about? We're going to learn about, let's start with how to plan the week and frequency. How many quality runs should you be doing a week? Let's first define a quality run, and then we'll move from there.
That sounds great to me.
Okay.
I was going to ask you that question. Now what do I do?
I'm going to ask you to define a quality run.
Oh, okay. A quality run is any run or a run that has a very specific purpose and usually is, I would say it has a focus more than anything else. That's the most important thing. And it's usually at or above some sort of tempo. Not threshold, but tempo of some sort. And
Okay.
it has defined goals and objectives.
When you define a goal and an objective, it's a focused run, purposeful run. How much are you paying attention to some of the metrics that you're getting?
Completely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're dialed into your watch.
Oh no, well, after years of training, I'm doing it by feel and watch. So
Nice.
because you need both.
You do.
And normally I'll actually do it on feel and check in with my watch every once in a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, most of us at this point have a watch with GPS.
Yeah.
And does the GPS take you off your game or keep you on your game, or how do you use it to help you?
Yeah, it's a great question. So it's a tough one for me, or probably even for you to answer, because most of our runs are marked too.
Yes.
Yeah, we mark a lot of our runs.
With rocks and trees
yeah.
and dipsy doos and oh yeah.
Because GPS does throw you off. Like I don't like looking at my watch and looking at the pace every minute or 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I look over like miles.
Yes.
That's the only way I'll look at pace. And because if you're doing something on a track or like shorter distance things, you should know the distance you're running and you should be able to dial in that.
Yeah. I will reference it. Depending on the type of work I'm doing on a track, I'll reference it every quarter if coach isn't there to make sure I'm dialed and make sure because it's so fine tuned at that point.
But that's not really GPS. That's you're looking at the time at that point.
Correct.
Yes.
When I'm out on the trails and I'm referencing the GPS, it's usually every mile.
Yeah.
And that kind of focus is, like Daniel said, it's coming from within, but it's also coming from without. And once you can marry the two, you get a better sense of you're matching perceived effort and actual pacing.
Yeah.
So you're not trying to fool yourself into thinking you're going a certain pace when you're not.
Yeah. So here's a good question on that.
So go ahead.
If you have your watch, right?
Yep.
what are you looking at? What are the settings or the metrics on the watch?
I only have two.
Okay.
I just do heart rate and distance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I actually, oh, no. So heart rate and lap time,
Lap time.
because I know the distance usually. Sometimes I'll go 3 faces. If I don't know the distance and it's a trail and I want something really cleanly measured, I'll go heart rate, distance, and lap time.
Okay. Do you have auto lap set up on your watch?
I do have auto lap set up every mile. And sometimes when I'm on the track, it sure does annoy me.
It's so annoying. Yeah.
Yes.
And what's funny is we tell all of our athletes to take auto lap off.
I like it for long runs.
Yes. And especially when long runs, it might be like mile goals or things like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's when it's on the track and you're nearing the interval and it auto laps and then you can't clip your interval. Lots of grrrs from me.
Well, it's also tough on long runs when like you have mixed intervals.
Oh
You're
yeah.
trying to get your intervals. So that's why we take it off.
Yep.
All right. So
All right. So now we know what a focus run is. How many do you do a week?
me?
Yeah.
The dose.
Seu dois. Seu dois.
No one knows that joke.
I know,
We
but
say
you
it
better
all
will.
the time.
But you better get it.
Yeah.
It's
It's an inside outside joke.
It's CO2 cartridge
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in Portuguese.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a, yeah.
Um,
Say an A to anything in it's Portuguese.
Yeah, it is.
We're on the
That's-
camera, eh?
No, that's
I
Canadian.
know.
So well, I'm doing 2 focus runs a week. My focus runs will be on the track, interval based, with set rest, work and rest, repeat modeling. And then my other focus run is a long run that will have a tempo type effort into it.
Okay, so what if you don't have a track?
Yeah, so it's a measured course.
Okay, measured and usually flat.
Yes, so it's repeatable.
Yeah, so you,
Yep.
you know your times week in and week out.
Yep.
In order for that workout. All right, so if you have a tempo run or a track run and then a long run, which really is your tempo run, right?
Correct.
So mind blown here, guys. Our long runs are tempo runs. That's how we look at it.
Yes. Because I think what ends up happening is when you go, if you do a long run and it's not focused, then you just start wandering off the path. And the goal is to keep the path defined.
Is this a metaphor or are you talking about like the real path?
Both.
Okay.
But specifically, metaphorically,
Okay.
when you have a better direction with what you're doing, you're more dialed, and it actually makes the time go by a little bit quicker.
Absolutely. And well, and come race day, the goal is to be running tempo or something
Yes.
similar. So why
Yep.
not train that way?
Correct.
So, all right. So it's one tempo run, which is your long run.
Yep.
One track measured run.
Correct.
All right. So are the goals throughout the year the same for these?
No.
Okay.
So I will actually, well, yes, it's always, the goal is always to get better, right? Elicit improvement.
Hi, my name's Damon. Nice to meet
Nice to
you.
All right. So but when we do certain things, it matters.
Okay.
So I often say to my kids, it's not necessarily what you're saying it, but how you're saying it
Okay.
matters more.
Okay.
I think the same tenet can hold true with training. It's not necessarily what you're doing, it's how you're doing it.
Okay.
Okay.
You give us a little more specificity. You can
Yeah.
help us out.
So we all know that, oh, what's your favorite workout? Oh, I like to do 6x1 mile repeats. Like
Yeah.
that's like if you ask a lot of people in the track realm,
Yeah.
they'll say like, oh yeah, that's one of
6x1.
I like the 6x1. And you hear it a lot. But how are you doing it? What kind of rest are you getting?
Okay.
When are you doing it in the week? How many days are you recovering after it? How are you playing your tempo run against your interval runs? I think that those 2 things matter. I think all those small details matter. The work to rest, the timing, the attitude you're bringing to a focused run. I think all those things matter.
All right. So we're getting into like December. It's like some
Oh,
people
yeah.
like-
Sorry, I
but-
didn't answer the
But it's
question.
like off season now,
Yep.
kind of off season.
And I'll go
right?
to the track and I'll actually do more speed work now
Okay.
because if I'm coming off of a little bit of a hiatus, which basically is 2020,
Yeah.
when we will take you onto the track earlier rather than later because people just don't have the strength to hold
Tempo and threshold for longer times. So if you do shorter stuff
with
gain
good
efficiency,
form.
Yes, and gain efficiency.
gain efficiency.
Yes.
And that's why we'll put you on the track a little earlier sometimes with our programs. And then with the long run, I like to space them out. I like to have 2 days in between,
Yeah.
at least
Yeah.
2 or 3. You start to run out of days,
Mhm.
but yeah. So when I do 3 quality runs a week, I can get away with it for about 2 weeks,
And then
and then I get hurt.
Yeah.
So I think if we're going for the if we're playing the long game, what I'd like for you guys to start to think about is those, let's have 2 focused runs. And then what are we doing with the other?
2 to 4 runs.
Correct.
We're just time on our feet, moving, staying comfortable, and being active, I'd say.
Do you have words for those runs?
Yeah. I mean, I call them cruisers.
I call them cruisers.
Yeah, cruisers.
I've started to call it like a little bit of like a cruiser foundational run.
I like foundational better.
Yeah, I do too.
Because a lot of when people say cruiser, they're like, oh, 11-minute miles, 10-minute miles.
Yeah.
Just like hanging out.
Yep.
There's still an impetus to the run.
Mm-hmm.
If you're totally wiped, you don't like
Yep.
but there's still an impetus, and it's not like you're run. If you're normally like your cruisers are probably 7:38-minute pace, right? Around there.
So what I'm actually trying to do with my cruisers is make them a little bit more impactful without the beat down.
Yeah.
So I'm actually trying to turn the dial on the cruiser run
Okay.
with still getting the effects of it, which are time on your feet, the biomechanical stress that you usually get from running, and the postural strength, all those things. I'm trying to work on this, but I'm still getting a cardiovascular output. And what I'm trying to do is turn the dial just a little bit. So my foundational runs are a little bit quicker as the year progresses.
Yep.
Because I'm just in better shape, but they're quicker. And here's the catch. They're quicker, but they're not harder.
Yeah.
And they're not, it's the same. So I look at the output. What is my heart doing? Right?
Yeah.
I'm more efficient. I'm faster. I'm physically stronger. So I'm covering the same distance
In a shorter period of time.
shorter period of time. But my ticker, my heart says it's still at a 132 heart rate or a 126 heart rate.
Gotcha.
And that's the constant.
Yep.
And as I grow, I get quicker with it. So I'm looking at those on my foundational runs. And another thing I try to do is I try to smile and I try to look around and I actually try to enjoy
Being outside.
Yeah.
Moving.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
like that.
So I have 4 of those. Go enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And then 2, you'll enjoy it later because you're willing to do the work now.
Maybe we'll call them smile runs from now on.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that those, now that we have a little bit of structure for the week, we've got foundational cruiser runs. We've got the interval run, which is we're working on work to rest ratio, which if you need to reference a work to rest, the dialogue that happens with that, you can go to podcast or MasterClass 2.
Yes,
Is that right?
I believe so.
So when we're working on, oftentimes if you come to camp,
Yeah. That's my next question.
oh, okay, go ahead, ask.
So a lot of the tempo work or the track work we do, track, not tempo, we do a lot of 15 beat drop work.
Yeah.
So that's a phrase we use a lot. Can you explain 15 beat drops and why?
Yep. So this is what I use on the track to determine my rest. So as I evolve and get stronger throughout a season, we're still looking at the same recovery window of being, let's say I finish an interval, it's a mile, I'm doing 6 by 1 mile repeats. Yay. Actually, I probably won't do 6.
No.
Only like near the end. So like the other day I did 6 by 1200s.
Yeah.
That's what I did on Tuesday. Okay. So I did 6 by 1200 repeats. And I would look down and like I crossed the start finish line and it was my heart rate. Let's say my heart rate was 171. Well, I don't start my next repeat until my heart rate drops 15 beats or 156. And then once I'm watching it, I do a little loop. I watch it. It gets to 159. I'm like, okay, it's getting close. I position myself to the line, see the drop 156 and go. And then what my coach is doing is he's going, okay, that took 31 seconds.
Yeah.
On the second one, it took 34. On the third one, it took 37. So he's starting to get fatigued. The work is taking a toll. He's still waiting for a 15 beat drop.
Yeah.
As I move and progress through a season, oh, there's 27 seconds. There's 27 seconds. There's
That means
27
you're getting fitter
seconds.
at a certain pace because your pace isn't changing. It isn't.
Oh, pace will get quicker
Okay.
too.
So how do you know when to really dial the pace up when you see your heart rate go down or the time period go down for this, or how does that work?
Yeah. So what I'm looking for is it's always the 15 beat drop is the constant. And what is changing is the time to drop 15 beats is shrinking as I'm becoming more efficient. And that's what we're looking for. We're really looking for, and for me and my physiology, it's about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
When I'm either blown to bits, just totally fatigued, like after number 5 into number 6, be like, coach will look at me and be like, 45, 46, I'm getting close to 50 seconds.
Yeah.
And for me, that's a fair amount of time.
Absolutely.
But when we go to camp, we'll see some people, specifically when we take them up to altitude, they'll be walking around still waiting for the 15 beat drop at minute 30,
Exactly.
2:15 into it. But that's their body telling them when it's ready to go again. And that's part of a feedback loop that you can start to dial into and communicate and how to use the tools at your disposal
Yeah.
for your advantage.
So when you're doing your 15 beat drop, are you like doing jumping jacks, walking around, light jogging? What are you doing?
It's usually just a soft walk and a lot of positive self-talk,
Yeah.
right? So it's like you're quiet, you're not quite mumbling, but you're concentrating, you're doing a little math in your head.
You're dreading the 3
No,
seconds.
and you're using your peripheral vision to make sure you don't hit other people, but you're not really concentrating on them. You're just in the best of terms, you're self-absorbed.
Yes.
In the best way possible.
Yeah. It's very little to no movement. It's all about you.
And I just usually end up doing a little loop back to the start.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So how long will that, let's say you're training for a half Ironman.
Yep.
Or an Ironman. Let's do both.
Okay.
How long will that track session get?
So for both, it's about the same.
Okay.
It doesn't vary too much. What we start out about 2 miles worth of work. So what's 2 miles worth of work? It could be four 800s. It could be 2 by 1 mile. As I start to progress, maybe we start with that. Like it would be 4 800s. The next week it's 2 1-milers. The second week it's a 2-miler.
Yeah.
And then, okay, you're handling the 2-miler just fine. Your 15 beat drop after straight 2 miles is the same as it was on the interval number 2 on the 800s.
So now we can move on to
Now we're progressing.
Yeah.
And then, so I'll start around 2 to 3 miles and I'll progress up to, we're looking at 12 to 14 kilometers of work.
Yeah. Plus a warm up and cool down.
Yeah. Yep. So, and then for the long runs.
Can I caveat this
sorry.
real quick though?
Yep.
Again, though, this is us talking about Andy. So there's other questions about how much you're running too, but this is talking about Andy. It's not that far off for a lot of the athletes that we coach. Pretty close, but
what we're looking for is
Yeah.
there's a magic number of 60%. Okay. So we're looking at 60% of the demand on race day. How do we get you so you can handle 60% of that specific demand and get better at it on a weekly basis? So we'll give you 2 opportunities to get to the 60%. We use the tempo run to go right up to the 60%. And we use the interval work to bolster the tempo run, and they start playing against or with each other.
Yeah. Are
And
you
helping
running
each other.
the same? Are you running your race goal pace for the stuff, or is it faster or slower?
So when I'm interval runs, it's faster than race pace, and tempo runs are slower than race pace. Yeah.
A really good reference point for interval pacing is Jack Daniels. If you want to just Google VDOT calculator, Jack Daniels, he could help you very easily, or we could as well. And it gives you your interval pacing. It's great.
If you look up Jack Daniels, put in the word running,
Yeah.
it will help you whittle down your choices.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done. You're on it today.
Thank you.
All right, so tempo, we got that, right? People keep on asking how many days per week of running.
Yeah.
Are you asking for Andy or for you? Because that's kind of
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm running 5 to 6.
Yeah.
I'm running 5 if I'm just blown to bits, and it's like I need another day of just kind of recouping. But most weeks, I'm going to say, let's say I'm running. I have a full week of running. I probably take 51 weeks a year. I'm running. I would say 6 of them I'm running 5 days a week. The other 46, it's 6 days a week.
Yeah. But like for a lot of you guys,
if you're asking me.
Yeah, for a lot of you guys, you don't have that time.
Yep.
And you're still swimming and biking, and you getting cardiovascular benefits. You can drop some of your foundational runs.
Yep.
You're getting the benefit from swimming and biking.
Yep. And we would still when you're looking to prune your week to optimize your time, because we're juggling lots of things.
Yep.
So if you just like in swimming, what is the thing you give up to increase your tempo? Well, we're giving up the back part of the stroke.
Yeah.
Okay. Reference the first MasterClass if you need a refresh on that one. What I was alluding to is, what do we prune on your running? It's definitely not the tempo run / long run, and it's definitely not the interval run.
No.
We're pruning a foundational cruiser.
Exactly.
To help you just become a little bit more efficient in your week to get those things called jobs done.
Yeah. I mean, it's exactly what we do when we're building your training. Like there's a couple table stakes.
Yep.
Which are tempo run, track run, long bike, and like some sort of threshold bike. You're sensing the pattern here. Threshold swim and like a tempo swim.
There you go.
Wow. Oh, we just
wait. I think there's some science and there's the art to it as well.
Yeah. So, and it's how you play those off each other and then bring other stuff into it.
And once again, I think this alludes to what I was saying before, trying to speak to before with, it's not necessarily what you're doing, but how you're doing it. I don't feel like that's a big reveal. I don't feel like we're, pulling back the curtain on the Wizard of Oz here.
No, because the way you play those two off of each other, tempo and threshold, makes a big difference in how you do it week in and week out, because it does change.
And you wear it differently. So I wear a threshold swim way differently than I wear a threshold run.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the bike is in between those.
Yeah. So, all right. So, sorry, track, tempo.
Yes.
We got it.
Yes.
This is not shutting off all day today. Now when we go to our long runs, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I have a few questions.
Okay.
First, long runs, I mean, they're hard, especially if you're doing them at tempo. Mm-hmm. Question 1, do you just go out and just go run tempo for an hour and a half, 2 hours, however long it is? Or is there a structure to your workout? It doesn't change.
There's going to be structure. And I'll actually use almost like a swim workout structure to help plan it in terms of like how to frame it in your mind. You want to have a warm up, you want to have a little bit of priming or preset, and then you want to have a main set, and then you want to have a cool down. I use that design when I'm on the track for an interval workout, and I pare it down a little bit for the interval or for a tempo run. Yeah. I'll do a warm up, main set, and a cool down.
Yep. And I mean, these main sets can come in all different forms. It could be time-based, it could be mile-based, it could be like hitting it and pulling back, hitting it and pulling back. Like does it depend on the time of year?
It certainly does. Depends on the time of year. It depends on what's around the corner. I also think it depends on, what's happening in your life. So if you want to make each step of a long run more and more valuable, I think the great way to look at it and to progress through it is, okay, let's say I know that I want to get my long run up to what time, Daniel?
Call it 2 for you?
No, for an Ironman athlete.
2:10. Let's go with that.
We're going to run 2 hours and 10 minutes is going to be our long
Oh,
run.
no, I'm sorry. You said Ironman.
Ironman athlete.
Let's go 250.
250.
Yeah, let's go
Okay.
250.
Your long run is going to be at 2 hours and 50 minutes. So at the beginning of the year, I want to get some exposure towards moving in that direction.
Yeah.
But I will just go run.
Yeah.
My first long run,
Yeah.
I will go run. An hour and 20 minutes.
Max. Yeah. I mean, my first one
Max,
was
yeah.
50 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I'm.
I'll usually introduce my long run
Like 4 to 6.
later
Yeah.
than you will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Because I like to shock the body.
Yeah. And
Oh,
as we progress it, so we're adding distance and velocity. So we're adding pace along with the distance and starting to add structure as it gets longer. And the way that, so I'm at a point now with my training where I want to make my long run count every step of it. So
Okay.
I'm at the final stages of how to use my long run to the best possible way I know how. And so I did a long run yesterday.
So what was it?
My long run was,
Yeah.
I did an 18-mile long run.
Okay.
And what I did was I warmed up on the bike
Okay.
before. So the week before I did 18 miles, but 16 of them were quality
And 2 warm up.
and 2 were warm up.
Okay.
My cool down was walking.
Gotcha.
Okay. So I was on my feet for 210.
Okay.
I ran like 202 or something, and I had 2-mile warm up, and then I had 16 quality miles.
Gotcha.
This week, I wanted 18 quality miles, but I wanted my warm up. I wanted it to feel like a race where the first step mattered.
Yep.
So I warmed up I used my run warm up. I did it on the bike.
Gotcha. And then you stepped out on the road and was like,
Go.
boom. Like, get out of the
Yeah.
neighborhood. Like, can't talk.
Gotta go.
Richard next door. We're getting after it.
Yeah. Larry,
Yeah.
clam it. I gotta run. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So in that bike ride will start to grow now.
Yeah.
But the long run will be closer because I'm getting ready for a half Ironman. So if I were getting ready for an Ironman, the longer run would grow.
Yeah.
The distance would grow, but the mentality would be the same.
All right. So you asked me, for most people, if we're going to talk in miles,
Yep.
how long does that long run have to be for an Ironman? Or you're over distancing for a half.
Yes.
What should people be doing?
So what I like is I really like the 15-mile mark. I like 15 miles
Yeah.
of quality for an Ironman.
Okay. Of quality for an Ironman.
Yeah. So like your tempo run you do a 3-mile warm up,
Yeah.
15-mile tempo,
Gotcha.
and then like a 3 to 8 mile cool down.
So you're 23 to 25 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, you do. You like that.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And then here's the next question. Are you just grinding tempo long runs week after week? How many weeks can you do them?
You can't do them every week. And this is the tricky part where you need a second set of eyes.
Yeah.
Because for me, what ends up happening is like, I did this 2 weeks ago. I did this last week. That means, I need X plus 3 this week. And it's not a linear equation. And I get too close to it. I can't see the forest through the trees. I'm just too close.
Yeah. So it might be 2 weeks of work and then a week of just running, or maybe you pull out the intensity, you keep the volume, or it's shorter with intensity. Or do you remember last year what we were doing a lot? We were doing 3 days in a row. That was an add up.
Yes.
To tempo. So instead of doing a long run on, let's say you do them on Saturday, you'd go, and say it was 3-hour long run. You go Friday an hour, Saturday an hour, Sunday an hour, and you get your volume that way too.
Yeah. And what I'll end up doing is how Mike will work with me. My coach is he'll say, hey, I really like how everything is progressing, but you're getting too wrapped up in it.
Yeah.
Your long run this week is a bike.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm like, well, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You're pulling it all the way out. And he's like, I'm pulling it all the way out.
Okay.
Or he'll have it.
Yeah.
So it's just another run. And we'll make it a foundational run.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we're constantly adjusting.
So people look for magic numbers, right?
Mhm.
And you see a lot of people when you look at like plans and whatnot, it's like, oh, you get to one run that's 22 miles. Right?
Oh, yeah.
We just went way beyond that too, by the way.
Yeah.
But then one that's like 22 miles. How many long runs over 17, 18, call 20 miles or the equivalent of that in time do you think people should be doing to get ready for an Ironman?
I'll go with the standard AP racing response.
Okay.
It depends. I think it does depend. I think it depends on your situation, your history, your background, your strengths, your weaknesses.
Injuries.
Yep.
Yeah.
The more I work with certain athletes, the more I learn what they can handle and how I can push them in different directions.
Yeah.
What they're being willing to
Mentally can handle.
mentally being able to handle.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I agree with you. One thing we talked about.
But I like the number 6.
Okay. I'm more of a 10 guy.
Okay.
I like 10.
You like 10.
I think 10 is the number. It's a lot, but it's the number.
But I also feel like you are the type of athlete, and we definitely have these athletes in our stable are on our team. It's the athlete that wants the race before the race to get hardened.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how you respond.
I race better after I race.
So you like to do an Ironman before your big Ironman.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. So for me, I'm name that tune in as few as notes as possible, just because of.
You have to play more songs though.
Yes. Yeah. So, but I'm also trying to just have everything be so fine tuned.
Well, it's the equivalent of, have you guys ever been out and like you go do a race and you have an okay race, pretty good. You don't perform as well. And then you race again a month later and you like lights out awesome.
Oh yeah.
And it's because you did this one race and it really, the word you used, hardened you and made you stronger. And it actually was the perfect prep to be ready to race.
Yeah, I agree.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you usually come out blazing in the spring in previous years, but you always race better after too.
Yeah. And it's a learning game.
Yeah.
It's a process for sure. So, in terms of how to set up the week, we got foundational runs, we got focused runs. In terms of how to set up the year, we've got how to work through progress and how to elicit progress and what numbers to look at, what specifically when you're doing an interval run, trying to measure the 15-beat drop. Hopefully it's starting to narrow and taking you less time to recover for the same amount of work.
Yeah.
I think a trap game with that is sometimes you go faster.
Yeah.
So the drop stays the same, but you went faster. So it's not just, you're not always working with a single variable.
Yeah.
There's multiple variables, which makes it a little bit harder to decipher.
Yeah.
And then when you said magic number, I do think about a magic number of a tempo run being 60%. So that's, I go for the 8 mile mark on a half, which is a little over 60%.
Yeah.
And then it's about right at, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I go for the 15, 16 mile tempo run for Ironman.
But that's the main set. The entire work is a little bit longer.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's the main set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the main set. Okay. We have a few questions, but I have one more question first.
Okay.
We talked a lot about doing strides.
Oh yeah.
Last week.
Yeah.
Which workout are you doing them in and why?
I'm glad you brought that up.
What is this, right?
So
what is a stride?
all right, let's start with what is a stride and so we've got different words for them. So we've got strides, pickups, or like short little hitters or something like that.
Yeah.
You can kind of change
Opener
up.
uppers.
Yeah, open up. Yeah. You can do a little hitter. Okay,
Yeah.
So what's a stride?
Just made that one up.
So it's about anywhere between 10 and 20 seconds worth of you are going faster than race speed. It's totally anaerobic, meaning you don't need oxygen to perform it. And feet are moving faster, the stride is bigger, and you're covering a ton of ground. And you'll do that. If let's say if your stride takes 10 seconds, you're looking at anywhere between 3 to 4 parts rest. So it's a 1 part work, 3 to 4 parts rest. So if you're doing a 10-second stride, you're going to do a 30 to 40-second recovery.
Yeah.
And then you'll go again.
Yeah. The goal of the stride is not fitness. The goal of the stride is efficiency.
Yes, and muscle recruitment. So,
Yes.
and we'll stick them at the end of a foundational or cruiser run, because we work on efficiency on tempo. We work on efficiency on the interval run. And so we put in some strides on your foundation runs, because it helps with neuromuscular patterning and just how you're recruiting.
I think that's the key word. Muscle recruitment.
Muscle recruitment.
Yeah.
Yep. And you also want to end on a good note, especially if you're a little stuck on your foundation or cruiser run and it just felt blah. And if you do do a pickup at the end,
You feel better.
you feel way better.
And you smile.
Yeah.
You smile.
Which is the smile runs.
Smile runs.
Yeah.
All right. So we had a few questions.
Okay.
Question 1, I'll let you answer it. Maybe I'll answer 2. How much do you look at power on the run?
So I don't look at power on the run.
Yeah.
Done. None.
All right. So I'm going to answer for our athletes that do use power.
Okay.
Cool.
Yep.
It depends, or technical answer, it depends.
It depends.
And it really depends on the athlete. And there's 2 things that it depends on with the athlete. 1, what is their love language? So some athletes come to sport from swimming, some come from running, some come from biking. If they understand biking the best and they're really comfortable with biking, use run more, because it's their language they understand.
Power more.
Yeah, power more. Yeah, power. And it's their language they understand. So you use it. The other reason you'd use it a lot is if you live in a very variable area or a place with altitude, a lot of hills. Like I used run power a ton 2 years ago, because I was getting used to the terrain. I didn't have my marks down yet, and everything's up and down where we live.
I think key thing, if you're gonna run with power, is establishing what kind of power gets what kind of pace on a flat ground, and then you can translate it to hilly.
Exactly.
Yep. I have started to look into some power numbers on the run.
Yeah.
I usually know that like a tempo run for me, does 500 watts sound right?
No.
626?
No, lower. It's pretty equivalent to your bike watts.
Well, no, my minimum power yesterday was 409
On the run?
on the run.
Your power's off then.
Okay. Cool.
Or you got crazy power. It's so strong. All right.
Maybe that was average power and peak power.
Probably for something special. I'll look at it later on.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me know.
We'll do some research. We'll let you know.
Okay.
Next question.
I don't know enough about it, so sorry.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to talk about this a lot next week.
Give them a little teaser, D.
Race pacing.
Mm-hmm.
What should your heart rate be when you're racing? Like, is there a goal or a target you should be at?
Yeah, and we did allude to this when we talk, or one of the earlier master classes about how to set up, how to use a pyramid approach when we're looking at like the zones. When we talked about zones, we had zone 2.
Yeah.
Zone 2 is usually, when we talk about zone 2, it's usually within the framework of, it can be within a pace, can be within power, and it can be within a heart rate. But I usually like to talk about the heart rate zone.
Yeah.
So I do the most amount of my work a week in zone 2, then zone 3. They're fairly close. Minimum 4, tiny sliver for 5.
Yeah, and then when you're racing,
When I'm racing because of that foundation, because of that, the robustness of and the quality of work that I'm able to achieve through efficiency at zone 2 and 3, that then supports me to be able to race at zone 4 the entire race.
yes.
Maybe dipping into 3, but not in a half Ironman. In a half Ironman, we are all zone 4. In an Ironman, if I'm at the pointy end and it requires zone 2, like I'm at zone 2.
Yeah.
I'm doing what's required.
Yeah. That means he has a 10-minute lead and he's just smelling it. But I think what people are asking is, do you target a heart rate when you're running? No. So and I'm going to decipher a little bit here.
Okay.
You can tell me if I'm wrong. Your training dictates how you race.
Yeah.
And if you want to be able to race at a certain pace, you train at that pace, or you train to be able to run that pace or ride at that pace, and same with the heart rate. You don't say, oh, I'm going to race at 142 beats because that's my most efficient beat.
But what if you didn't wake up hydrated?
Yeah, because it affects your heart rate.
What if it's hotter?
Yes, that's why you don't use heart rate.
Two great examples.
Yeah, those are great. It's like you've done this before.
Maybe.
Yeah, a few
Once
times.
or twice.
So a lot of people raced on with heart rate forever. I mean,
Yep.
that was it. And they were trying to say, oh, if I stay in the zone, I'll be okay. And that's a great guideline.
Oh, you want to know what I do? I've done that. I have raced in heart rate.
Okay. How'd that go?
It went pretty good because the way I did it was, so I was racing on heart rate and I had a heart rate goal. And I said, if my heart rate drops below 158, I'm not trying hard enough. I have to go harder and faster. So
it's not the same.
It is not the same, but that's how I used it. Right. And so when I hear people are like, oh, I want to stay within this zone.
Yeah.
That's not how I use it. I use it to say, oh, I'm getting a false sense of security.
Let's go faster.
I need to dial it up, go again.
And that could be wrong too. That could be telling you the wrong thing too, though, because again, your heart rate's affected by different things, right? So you could have an elevated heart rate that's just keeping you high and you're not even going as fast as you think you should be. Or like you're just really in a good place that day and you're like working way harder than you need to.
Too much Red Bull.
I mean, yeah, or you take a Red Bull, 2 of them right to the face. Like, and then you're like Red Bull.
You could double Red Bull.
And you're like,
double Red Bull. However, those are usually spent, if you're double Red Bulling to the face, then you are,
you're not worried about anything.
you're just looking about survival. And you're worried about, like it's go.
Yeah.
Like this window of opportunity is short and it's closing.
Yeah.
And when I was doing this is the minimum.
Yeah.
So for me, if it's not clear, I have a low heart rate.
Yeah. I mean, I think you average like 135 to 140 max in an Ironman.
Yeah.
So 158.
If I was averaging 150, so 158 will get me sub 5-minute miles when I was doing it.
Yeah.
And it was when I was doing Olympic distance racing.
Yeah.
And I would reference it strictly on the run at like 3 miles in. And if I was wondering if I was going to get caught.
Okay.
Am I running fast enough to get caught? And I don't want to, if I didn't want to take it into the chute.
Yeah.
I want it to be done.
Yeah. Like everything, heart rate is something, if you know your heart rate, you can work off of it. Like I'll give you a great example. You're racing an Ironman at 130 to 140.
Correct.
There's a guy on our elite team, Matthias. I saw his run file years ago at Kona. He averaged, I think, 188 beats a minute on the run.
I would
blow up.
Oh yeah.
Well,
But and I think that's where there is strength and value in looking at 15 beat drops.
Yes, absolutely.
Because for Matthias and me, we would have the same 15 beat drop, but his start value is higher.
Exactly.
His max value is higher.
But you're recovering the same amount.
Or it takes him longer or shorter to drop it.
Exactly.
And so you can have a lot of individualization with it. So it's catered to you.
Yeah.
But when you're working in a race environment, I'd hate for you to get to the finish line and tell yourself any of the 3 following words: woulda, coulda, or shoulda.
That was really good.
There you go.
Got nothing. That was great. All right, so we got one more question from Gustavo, another elite team athlete, crew. He loves this topic, and we're going to talk about it, I think, next week when we talk about strength training. Is that next week?
Yes.
How do you know if you're recruiting the right muscles when you're running, and then how can you work on it both in run training, but really like in the gym or other places? And do you do it that way?
Yeah. So I definitely. So I use specificity in terms of my running helps my running.
Okay.
I do believe in specific training for specific outcomes. It's really hard to just ride and be a great runner.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, with that said, so I look for running strength when I'm running, but then I supplement it with other aspects, specifically in the weight room.
Yeah.
I will use one lift in particular, and that's the deadlift. If you can really work on your deadlift as a runner, you will see great strides, pun intended, in your development.
Yeah. One of the ways you can tell if like you're recruiting well or not is you use your own feedback loop. So again, I know for myself, but other people as well, if like you feel like your quads get really tired,
Blow out,
or
yeah.
they get blown out, you're probably running quad dominant. You're not recruiting your glutes enough. Or
Yes.
if something else gets blown out, you're not recruiting enough from other places like your hip, your butt, and things like that.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, and then get on that hex bar deadlift.
Boom. Yeah. The hex bar deadlift. We can get into it next week, but
He'll talk about it the entire time.
it's a little elevated.
Yeah.
So you actually, it'll shorten your range of motion, which is fine, specifically if you have anything that you're trying to protect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. I got nothing else.
I got one thing for you, Daniel.
All right, hit it.
Okay. So I have next to me a very beautiful picture.
Okay.
And beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But this picture is downright beautiful. Do you know where this picture was taken, Daniel?
Well, I'm not looking at it, but I'm going to guess Hawaii. I can't see it.
Yeah, I'll go right.
It's okay. We can go right there.
There you go.
That looks like it's in Waikoloa in Hawaii.
It
At the
is.
Marriott, or like near the Marriott and the Hilton.
It is.
Yeah, which is about 35.
It's close to the Marriott.
Close to the Marriott. It's in the
I think it's like
Marriott.
a beach.
Yeah. It's about 35 miles up the road from where we'll be staying for our camp in Kona in October. Sign up today.
So we have a camp that's going to go visit this beach. It's the first one that we're going to do, add to the AP Racing camp profile or folder. It's going to be right after Kona. So it starts on we race Kona on Saturday. We'll have Sunday off.
Yep.
And then we'll start the camp on Monday.
Puya.
And we've got accommodations set up for you. You can check us out under the camps tag or tab on andypottsracing.com.
And we're actually staying at the King Cam where everyone for the race day, so you guys can have that experience.
Gonna be awesome.
Yeah, and we're gonna do the hardest bike climb in the world. That's not an exaggeration.
Ranked numero uno.
Which, if you've come to our camps, that means you would have done number 3.
Which is
Evans. No, Pikes.
Pikes.
I
I thought Pikes was 4.
Oh, maybe. All right. Well,
Whatever.
in the top 5.
Okay.
You would do
Evans.
Evans, which is pretty high up there, and then you would do the number 1.
Palomar.
Palomar. Oh, Palomar
is up there.
is up there.
Yep.
And this one. And then on top of that, if you've done Evans, Pikes, and this one, you've climbed the 3 roads that are paved in the U.S. over 14,000 feet.
AP Racing. Stand by to got some.
Summit camps.
Let's do it.
So, all right. So you have this picture.
Yeah.
You didn't bring it up because of the camps. What was your other question with it? Did you have anything else? Or
No, I wanted to see if you had
If I knew it.
good recall.
I spent a lot of time there.
Yeah, you have, and it's beautiful. But I also I did want to mention our camp.
Okay.
It's brand new up, and we've been working on the dates for camps, and I wanted to mention it because
that date is locked and loaded.
okay.
Yeah.
So I want to say it's the 11th
I believe
of
so.
October because I think the race day is October 9th.
Yes, you are correct.
Yeah.
You circled that one already?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
All right. So I think we did.
I think it's because 7 other teammates of mine are going to be there.
at least that we know of so far.
Yeah.
It might be more. Get some.
Might be more.
Yeah.
If you guys follow our instructions in the MasterClass.
And join our coaching.
Yes, that was implied.
Yeah, I think most of our athletes that have qualified are athletes who coach.
That's the way we roll.
Yeah. All right. Enough self-propagating here. We have a little bit of time left.
Okay.
People could throw questions up there. I thought we'd do rapid fire.
So bad.
It was terrible, but I had nothing else going. I was trying to think of something. Yeah. Air horn. All right. You ready for rapid fire?
Yeah, we'll do a couple.
All right. We'll do 3. How about that?
Sounds great.
All right. Number one in the rapid fire. Andy Potts, what is your favorite run course
Mm.
and any race you've ever done? You guys, if you know the answer, type it in. Andy, I thought he was going to give away that picture, but he was just showing you guys so you'd be jealous and he had it. It's cool. Favorite run course ever for Andy. Why don't you talk about him a
Okay.
little bit?
So there is one in Cambridge, Maryland. Called
I just got
no,
sick
not
to my
Cambridge. Is it
stomach.
Cambridge?
It's Cambridge. I just got sick to my stomach.
Okay. So
Worst ever.
there's a point in the run where they'll have a sign. It says the mini energy lab,
Yeah.
or it's like,
All right. Boom. We want to know the real answer.
yeah, no, there's a mini energy lab thing, and I'm like, oh, I think you're trying a little too hard here because it doesn't reflect Hawaii at all. But
Yeah. Except for it's terrible.
no, it's not. It's okay.
That run is the worst.
Okay. I had a good day there, so I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Right. So this goes to a little bit of an adventure side. Also, the fact that you get multiple terrains to run on. It's hilly, it's flat, you're running on sand, you're running through tunnels, and it's the Escape from Alcatraz.
Booyah! That was a big surprise.
Yeah, shocker.
Shocker, right?
Yeah.
All right. All right.
I call out a few other runs that are solid. What makes a good run course? Usually you're running through a community that wants the race to be there, and they're not yelling "get off my lawn," but they're yelling, you get a family out there with cookies, or you get a
Timberman used to be really good for that.
Timberman was wonderful. They would have sprays.
Yeah.
There was a run actually in San Luis Obispo, right outside, where they had an aid station staffed by topless collegiate.
Yeah. And Wildflower.
Yeah.
That was a great
Yeah.
one.
So.
Yeah. I took a break there. All right.
Okay.
Next question.
They've since banned the topless. That's no longer
Yeah.
there.
Okay. And this might be the same answer. We shall see. What is the closest race you've been in coming down to the run that you wish you won?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, I know it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And I know what you're gonna say now too.
I've
I actually feel bad asking it.
I've lost
I
three.
should have asked it.
I've lost 3.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be the one you think.
Interesting.
Yeah. I've lost 3.
Okay.
I've won 15
That's pretty good odds.
in the shoot.
So you're pretty good in the shoot.
But I've lost 3
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. What? Give me the other 2.
that I lost.
Yeah. That's not the
Yeah.
close one you wish you won.
So it was just really bad tactics. I was racing up in Calgary 70.3. Ben Hoffman beat me in the shoot. That was just, I should have just,
Went earlier.
no, I should have just been like, if I was going to play it the way I did, I should have been like, I should have shook his hand before the shoot and
Yeah.
let him go ahead. Because
The way you played it.
the way I played it was just bad.
Okay.
Dumb.
Dumb.
Yeah.
Live and learn.
Yep. Another one I lost was in, he was a young pro, and we were in, it was 2017, 2016 in Escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah. Eric.
Eric Lagerstrom. He's one of the, a couple years into pro racing, and I did try to drop him earlier. Just didn't have the ideal swim for the day, so I had to actually play a little catch up on the roads for the run. Didn't use the bike like I should have, and then I had the opportunity to gutter him.
Yeah.
So guttering means like you see it in pro racing with cycling, like where you use the barriers as like a defender and you kind of push someone in, not maliciously. So I did gutter him. I could have been malicious and put him into the barrier, and I didn't, which was the appropriate move. It wasn't. I wouldn't have slept well if I had like literally put him into the barriers.
Yeah.
But it's uneven ground, and I stumbled, and he took me.
Yeah. It's okay. All right.
He
What's
He was
the
like
one?
23.
Yeah. What's the one?
I was 37.
48.
I-
What's the one? What's the worst?
Yeah, one I want back. And
Yeah.
believe it or not, I actually would like Lifetime Fitness in Minneapolis. I lost to Matt Reed
Not the one I expected.
in a lean. we took it to the lean. It was we had to do like frame by frame to see who crossed. I have a photo of it.
That's crazy.
Matt I had actually beat him like 2 years earlier in 2 similar sprint finishes. I thought I had him.
Yeah.
And he got me.
But that was the year he went on a tear too.
Yeah, he was good there.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
I'd like that one.
Not the one I thought.
Wait, without Alcatraz?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get me wrong. I'll take all 3 of them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. All right. Last one for the day.
Because Lifetime, when we were doing,
That was a big deal.
it was a big deal.
It was big money.
It was like, I think the difference in prize purse was like 60 grand.
That's a lot.
I would have liked to have had it. Right?
I want that one back
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
All right. Last one. You talked earlier about liking West Coast rap. Okay?
Oh yeah, sure.
Who's your favorite rapper of all time? Like if you got to throw on the beats.
Okay,
Who's your guy?
gotcha.
All right, throw it out there. Who's he throwing on the beats? The ones and the twos.
I do have 2 that I really like that aren't. I had 3 that I really like that I'll mention.
Okay.
So this is before the cutoff. So if you have put in DMX, I actually really like DMX, and I'll lift to DMX. He's hard. If you run into if you run into DMX on the street, like don't get into a confrontation with him because he'll kill you. Another person that would have killed you, but he happened to die already, is blanking on his name. He
raps.
He does. He's East Coast. Or sorry, West Coast. Rap.
No.
Yeah, Tupac.
Yeah, but Tupac's really East Coast, but he's West Coast.
Okay, so Tupac would kill you if he weren't dead. But I did like his sound. He had like a really good sound, and it was distinct. Who doesn't love Snoop Dogg? I got a private Snoop Dogg like I was me and like, I don't know, maybe like 150 people.
Really?
And he did a impromptu concert.
It's kind of awesome.
It was awesome. I'll tell you the story one day. And my favorite rapper is actually, I think it's because of the way he's very skillful, is Eminem. I really like Eminem.
Eminem's really good.
Yeah.
Eminem's good. Yeah. All right. I like that. What's Eminem's song? One of them?
Are you gonna hit me or something?
Not just. I just want to know a song. I'm not gonna hit you.
Oh geez, now I'm on the spot.
Two trailer park girls.
Yeah. No, what's the one that he's from 8 Mile? Lose Yourself.
Yeah, Lose Yourself.
All right.
Lose Yourself.
So let me ask you this, Andy. Can you send us off today? Talk a little bit about people lose themselves all the time in training and life.
Sure.
How do you stay on the straight and narrow and be happy and train and race and find that balance and keep it all together?
Yeah. So when we look at the opportunities in front of you, hopefully it's a long, long list. And I spoke to the 3 words that you never want to say to yourself after you've had your opportunity. And those are woulda, coulda, and shoulda. The time to take advantage of an opportunity is before it presents itself. If you want to get the most out of yourself, out of this turn on this planet, I think that you have to challenge yourself on a daily basis. I think we all know how to do that physically. I think we've all gone to places in our with physicality of it. But the bigger extension, so you'll never ever say woulda, coulda, shoulda when your personal finish line comes. It all starts with being kind to each other, treat each other how you want to be treated. And if you love someone, let them know you love them. And if you don't love someone, let your heart grow a little bit. Find out what makes them tick. Be curious. Never get to the finish line and say those 3 dreaded words. Share love, and we'll see you at the races.
Word. I almost just cried a little. That was pretty good. All right, so no woulda, shoulda, or couldas, people. I think we We don't have to say that about today because we did the damn thing.
There you go.
Yeah,
We'll see you next week. Same
Yeah.
bat time, same bat channel.
maybe. Peace.
Peace.